So one of the first fights that I guess may be confirmed for 2021 is Conor McGregor versus Dustin Poirier. We heard today from the Mac Life that Conor McGregor signed his end of the agreement. Is that true? Have you heard that as well?
True. No, it's true. Yeah, he signed. It was never a concern. It's never like I was like, uh-oh, Conor hasn't signed his fight agreement.
Yeah. Once
Conor
it got
McGregor
there, you
says he wants to fight. Conor McGregor shows up.
Totally. So you announced on this very podcast on September 30th that you had offered these guys the fight, and now here we are on November 19th. It's finally signed on both ends. On a scale of 1 to 10, how challenging was this one to put together?
Not at all.
Really?
No, it wasn't challenging at all. Yeah, no. There's so much more challenging shit going on right now in this business and in this world. That isn't one of them.
So another one of the things about this fight that was kind of in question, people said, hey, if Khabib is retiring, isn't the title going to be up for grabs? And maybe you put it on this fight, maybe you put it on a different fight, maybe this is a number one contenders fight. You have said, I believe Khabib will come back and fight eventually for 30-0. I saw today this quote from him. He disputes that. He says, next year I will graduate. I'd like to build on my thesis, do a master's course, dedicate more time to studying. I've bought sheep, tend to my farm. I'd like to develop this field a little. I have bull calves to feed. I have cows. He doesn't seem too interested in it. He said you could fight until you're 40, but there should be a goal, and he's reached his. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I think that those are definitely all things that he's looking at and excited to do. But I think that doesn't mean that he doesn't want to fight either. I can give you a laundry list of shit that I got going on personally that I'm looking forward to too, but doesn't mean I'm not going to be doing what I do here.
One more thing on the Conor-Dustin Poirier fight. Can we expect that on Fight Island for sure?
I mean, nothing's for sure, but yeah, I mean, that's where I'm thinking. What I'm hoping to do is Fight Island. I'm looking to make it International Fight Week. The new Etihad Arena will be open, and that thing was designed with us in mind. Concerts, pool parties, all kinds of cool stuff. And yes, I hope to bring fans back.
Good. And I guess why do you think this fight is happening now? I mean, we know Conor can, pretty much take his pick of the litter and what he wants to do for the most part. Why do you think you're the guy he's fighting next?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he just timing put us in this position. Gaethje just losing, Khabib possibly retiring. I'm the highest ranked guy available coming off of a win. Maybe that's the way he's looking at it. I have no clue.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, in terms of the rematch, man, I mean, this is going to be your third rematch, and they've both gone pretty well for you against Max Holloway and Eddie Alvarez. But I was kind of thinking about it, and this does feel like in some way kind of the opposite of the Max fight. I mean, you had dispatched of him pretty quickly in that one. You guys were both very young in your careers, have come such a long way since then, but it's kind of the opposite with this one in terms of you losing the first fight. So how is the mental side of that different, instead of, knowing that even though it was such a long time ago, you had that one up on the person, but now it's kind of reversed?
It's kind of the same way, honestly. Going into the Max fight, I knew he was a different fighter. I knew I was a different fighter. I didn't really draw any momentum from the first fight. And kind of the same here with this. This is a completely different fight. I feel like we're both completely different fighters. And I'm not really looking back at that first fight.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, a lot of people are going to, though, right? Like, I see the UFC putting the full fight out on, like, all their social media today and little things like that, which, of course, is going to happen in terms of the build. But when you go back and, like, look at some of the articles and stuff, and you kind of said, we didn't know what Conor McGregor was or was going to be at that point, and you were kind of going in there wanting to test him and say, like, we're going to find out how good he is here. And he, was calling you a journeyman and stuff like that. I think it's fair to say all these years later, maybe you were both a little bit wrong in the assessment of each other, like how far you guys have come and where you are now. Would you agree with that in some sense? Like maybe at the time you didn't know what this would turn into?
Yeah, I mean, he was obviously a great fighter, finishing a bunch of guys before me in his early UFC career. But at this point, we're both so much more established and have so much more experience, just more mature fighters. And I think, you get a completely different fight here. I was very emotional in that first one. I wanted to hurt the guy. This time I just want to outsmart him, just want to beat him. And that's it. This is business. This isn't any ill will towards the guy. You know, when I was younger, I used to fight with a lot of emotion. This isn't the same thing for me. This isn't about getting even for me. This isn't like a revenge type of thing for me. This is about moving my career forward, about putting my family in a better spot. It's not about trying to get back a guy who got me. This is just, it's business.
Speaking with Valentina Shevchenko, of course, the 125-pound champion in the UFC, successful title defense against Jennifer Maia last Saturday. When we talk about, you know, kind of the greatest champions of all time, the Anderson Silvas, the GSPs, the ones that, you know, John Jones, who live in MMA history, they all have that run in their weight class, the title defense after title defense after title defense, just clearing out divisions. It seems like everybody these days is kind of looking for a big fight or a super fight or the two-division champion, all those kinds of things. But the old school champ that kind of sits in the division and clears everybody out, that was often the path to greatness in MMA. Do you see it that way, that cleaning out the division and just beating everybody one after the other is really how you become great? Is that how you see it?
First of all, I want to defend my belt for a long, long time. Many fights, many opponents. Yes, this is my goal and what I want to do. But also, I'll open for any opportunities that would come. And I'm the kind of the fighter who doesn't reject anything. I'm not like, okay, I don't like this girl, I will fight with another one. No, yeah, I just like, so the offer, they have a name. I said, okay, I'll take it because I don't care. I know about, I believe in my power. I believe in my strength. I believe in my technique. That's why I believe in all of these things. And I know if I will work hard and I will be motivated, nothing can break me, and I will be do my best to win like all my fights. That's why I open for anything what would come, and I just wait for new opportunities that gonna bring me more and more success in my life.
Dan Hook is another guy that, you know, everybody wants to see back in action, and I'm curious what you think should be next for Dan. You know, the division's kind of tied up. You got Tony and Charles Oliveira tied up. Obviously, Conor is fighting Dustin. Who would you like to see for Dan, and what sort of time frame could we possibly be looking at?
Conor McGregor wants to do a season. Like, if you want to do a season, you can't just talk about it. Like, your management team have to get in and actually demand that season gets done. When you want to do a season, when you want to fight regularly like my guys do in New Zealand, you have to line everything up, okay? You need participants as well. That's the other half of the equation. Dan Hooker will fight anybody, anytime, on the drop of a dime. We've proven that. Let's be a part of Conor McGregor's season. Tim Simpson, make it happen wherever you are. I'm not sure where you are right now in the world. We would like to fight Conor McGregor. Maybe not next because he has Poirier, but we are a willing participant. If you're going to talk about your season, then we will step in and be a part of your season graciously. We're happy to do that with respect.